Our London correspondent Daria Pushkova has the details.
The statement from the Crown Prosecution Service has drawn a line under the British police investigation. The prosecutors concluded there is enough evidence to charge an individual, a Russian citizen, with what they believe was a deliberate poisoning.
I have today concluded that the evidence sent to us by the police is sufficient to charge Andrei Lugovoy with the murder of Alexander Litvinenko by deliberate poisoning. I have further concluded that the prosecution of this case would clearly be in the public interest. In those circumstances, I have instructed CPS lawyers to take immediate steps to seek the early extradition of Andrei Lugovoy from Russia to the United Kingdom.
Andrei Lugovoy met Alexander Litvinenko in London's Millennium Hotel on November the 1st, the day he fell ill. Lugovoy has repeatedly denied any involvement in the case.
He could only be charged if he's within the United Kingdom. And so what will happen is that the Director of Public Prosecutions will prepare an extradition request to be submitted formally, and he will also make an application for a warrant of arrest to be issued at a court as part of the extradition request. Then the request will be submitted to the Russian Federation.
The moment the news was announced by the Crown Prosecution Service, the photo of Alexander Litvinenko in his hospital bed was back on the front pages. And with the arrest warrant being issued and an extradition request on its way, Britain seems to be facing another media frenzy over the death of the former Russian agent. For the media, the spy story is back. For the prosecutors, the case needs to be taken to court. For the officials, it's a potential minefield that has to be crossed.
We asked the Russian authorities for cooperation in the investigation. We received it. We hope and expect to receive their cooperation in bringing forward justice.
Russia's ambassador to the UK has confirmed this information.
Indeed, we have got the request from the Foreign Office on the extradition of Mr. Lugovoy, but so far it is a political request, and the relevant documents will be channeled through the British Embassy in Moscow to the Office of the Prosecutor General of the Russian Federation, and then, as I think, the appropriate reaction will be given to this request.
Some in Britain believe that the relations between Moscow and London are on the brink of breaking down, and it all depends now on how the case is handled.
There's no need for it to hit the lowest of the low, but as I said, this does depend on how Moscow plays it. We are looking for normal relations. We see Russia and Britain as interdependent. Let's play it by the rules and not by arbitrary interventions when dignity and Russian sovereignty is alleged to have been invaded.
Russian prosecutors said they would give their full attention to any charges against Lugovoy once they had received official documents from Britain, and opened the possibility he could be tried in his homeland. Whether this is something Britain would be satisfied with remains to be seen. Daria Pushkova, Russia Today, London.
Meanwhile, the widow Alexander Litvinenko has filed a complaint against Russia with the European Court of Human Rights. Marina Litvinenko says she is satisfied with Scotland Yard's work and hopes justice will be done.
I'd like to say I'm very happy about all job what Scotland Yard done already, and definitely they will go to do more. And I'm very happy is this judge and court going to be here in England.
Now, the Russian Prosecutor General's office says Russia cannot turn over Lugovoy to the UK as it would contradict the country's constitution. The Foreign Ministry says it's expecting more detailed information on the case from British authorities. Some experts have been speculating over the possible outcomes. Alexander Koshenitska has more.
To extradite or not, this is not a question for Russian prosecutors.
In line with Article 61 of the Russian Constitution, a Russian citizen cannot be extradited to a foreign state.
If he is prosecuted, that's another story.
The European Convention on Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters and the Russian Code of Practice makes it possible to bring a person who has committed a crime abroad to criminal responsibility if the foreign state provides evidence. But the prosecution would have to take place on the territory of the Russian Federation. if our own laws cover this particular crime.
Months of the British investigation is now topped with the charges against Andrei Lugavoy. For the member of the Security Committee of the State Duma, the charge is no surprise.